Right, great. Hello, YouTube. We are back for another night. Tonight we're going to get dug right back into OBS. So basically, if you tuned in last night, you'll see that I'm working on the ability for Kynto here, this avatar chat system and media stream platform, to control OBS. So, you know what OBS is? You'll find this interesting. If you don't, you might just find it interesting because it's code related. As usual, everything's coded in JavaScript for both the front end and back end. We're basically getting set up for mobile streams here. Been quite a bit of changes in my life as of recently that are opening up some opportunities, and we want to be able to take advantage of that with mobile streams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream to Twitch tonight, so we'll get that going. It's been a little while since we popped up over there. I'll go ahead and activate YouTube live chat integration, and let's see if we can throw it on Kicksafe. That'd be good too, wouldn't it? So we should be up there as well. So give us a wee minute here as we get connected to everything and we'll get to work. Okay, so of course the easiest connection here should just be YouTube. I hit start. And let's see what happens, if anything. Might have to manually populate this video ID. Each night we do this, it's always stressful because of the YouTube API situation. I think tonight might be the night that we actually contact Google and get our token limit increased. Alright, but it does look like we're up. Let's see.
Testing YouTube live chat.
Brilliant. Right, let's go ahead and activate for Twitch and Discord. Oh, I need to grab a token for Twitch. So if you're familiar with what OBS is, it's a software that a lot of folks use to basically stream. So if you watch people play games, all that stuff, a good chunk of them are using OBS, a tool like it, maybe Streamlabs. What we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be making our own OBS plugin. Essentially, we'll be able to control OBS remotely through this whole little system we've created here. And it's going to allow us to stream out and about with the live chat avatars. Oh, we're missing an R in our token for Twitch. Right, there we go, we're active now. So it's been a wee while since we went into Twitch. Just go over there and make sure everything looks good. In other news, Walter let me borrow his fancy wee camera. So what I'm actually going to use that for is I'm going to be shooting a kind of a video update on the journey of the live avatars in Kynto. I think the last video update I did was about 3 months ago. Obviously a lot of things have changed since then. A lot for the good, honestly, more so than anything. Especially with Kynto and the channel here. So we're going to do a little update and we're going to have plenty of opportunity for clips. There's been some funny moments that have happened on the stream and a lot of cool stuff where folks are giving feedback and I kind of got to implement that live. Can't forget to turn on a little CRT up there. Okay, so yeah, we'll just give this a minute to get settled. I will go ahead and kill the face camera. And we're going to start my code. Just a little recap where we left off last night is we do have a working OBS controller. So it's using the WebSockets plugin to basically communicate with OBS, and we can control quite a lot actually. So if you take something like, let's see if the camera pick it up. I have to get myself out of the way here. Right, so you look at this little device, it's called a Stream Deck, and I have all sorts of stuff mapped to this, right? Like I can show myself I can hide and disable Kynto. We can hide the other various cameras. Very cool tool. What I'm doing here with Kynto tonight is essentially we're going to make this remote. So we'll to control the streams remotely, and it will make being able to bring live chatters along with me on the trips quite easy without having to lug all my equipment around. So that's kind of the goal we have here. There is some overarching things I'd like to get done as well, but I think we're going to work through this first. And that is also going to require us to set up a separate instance of Kynto. So this avatar chat is powered by live chat, right? A couple of you folks have seen it in action already, made good use of it. We're going to run it locally in a server here as well. Part of the reason I want to do that is I don't want to have to, like, basically I'm going to have a private instance just for streaming, and there's a public instance that anyone can go on right now. You can actually go to the stream, it's kyntoparty.com. But where I've actually been driving people is not the website, it's been Discord. Because a lot of folks are coming across this channel that are interested in learning how to code. And I'm getting more and more calls to switch to a horizontal format for streams. Well, the good news for you, if you're interested in that, is by me completing this work here, it's going to make it easier for me to have different streaming configurations. Just a little bit of background. Why I decided to do portrait streams in the first place. It turned out it's kind of a little way to get around YouTube's algorithm, or more to get rewarded by YouTube's algorithm. So what do I mean by that? Well, even if you just look at my streams over the past 3 months, right? There's a couple that got like 60 views in one night, and we've went all the way up to 1700 since then. And I think a good part of that's to do with just the format of the stream. And if people do engage, find any of this interesting, they'll stick around for a little minute. So even if they don't like it, they don't subscribe, just merely sticking around is enough for YouTube to say, hey, this is interesting. And it serves up to other audience that might have similar interests as yourself, which typically is coders, people are now to code, people interested in game development or getting started in it, which is kind of the ideal audience for what I'm working on here. Right. So it's kind of a ritual at this point. I like to just scroll through the code that we'll be working on tonight, kind of reload it back into RAM. That's my short-term memory. We're going to be bouncing and bobbing a little bit, but not too much. A good side effect though, by moving the Kynto server here, is we're going to be able to take advantage of a faster method for YouTube chat, and it doesn't have an API token cost. Plus I can integrate it with other channels. So we're going to do some cool experiments, that's for sure. I also coded the ability to pull captions from YouTube videos, so we could cache and then feed into AI to kind of like get an intention about the video. So I think that will be very, very interesting as time goes on, having the ability to, with one click, be able to explain what a video is and kind of get a sense for the mood of the video through the live chat comments. I don't think
Avijit says hi.
Hello, welcome to the stream. Have you been here before? Yeah, let's just refresh ourselves on the React front end here. Okay, so we have a basic control panel.
Nope, definitely new LOL.
Well, I appreciate you joining. I hope you find this stream a little bit different, a little bit interesting. So the way you're communicating with me and the rest of the stream, that's basically what I'm coding. That's what I'm coding tonight. And most nights during the week I get on here and I just build the code. Give me a wee second, we'll get a wee drink, maybe some coffee, and we will continue. And make sure you subscribe and like the video if you find this sort of stuff interesting. It's fun if we get more people in the room. And some folks have been interested in seeing what's the maximum amount of avatars we could get. We're yet to find out. So one of the questions I've been getting a lot is what's the best language to get into for game development? And it's a pretty complex answer, but I believe web development's good because anyone can play your game, anyone can load it without having to download anything. So I think that's a good start, building for the web. Right. Just a quick reminder, we're working with a WebSocket integration tonight to OBS, which is a streaming platform, or a streaming software. We want to be able to control it so we can do these sort of streams out and about. So what I want to do is actually find some better documentation so we can work through this a little bit easier tonight. In 2025
Any good
documentation.
resource for learning about the backend? Node specifically.
Well, that's a great question. So I can tell you I do use Node quite heavily here. I use it for my RESTful APIs, so like your traditional API calls, and I use it for WebSockets, which is low latency, instantaneous communication between the client and server. As for resources, that is a really good question. I learned how to code when I was a little kid, basically. So I've kind of seen JavaScript evolved. I remember when Node was released, we could first use it. Well, let's take a quick look. My first question is, what sort of, are you looking for a career in Node.js? Or are you looking to build something like a personal project? Or maybe both? So just for myself, like having a fundamental understanding of JavaScript is good. JavaScript is a powerful language, but it does have a lot of gotchas that kind of get developers that are familiar with other languages like Java, C#, C++. But nodejs.org does have some good information on it. Like how to set up an Express server, sort of things like that. Maybe we should do a little series on this actually. Kind of like the JavaScript and Node.js fundamentals.
I'm pretty good with vanilla now though.
All right, well then you've got a heads up. You've got an advantage over others. I find it's Node really shows its value. Like when I built like this little tool here, I'll just explain how this works, like just roughly. So I coded my own plugin system, right? And then I coded my own integrations with YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Discord. And like I was able to just condense it into one little avatar world. And it's kind of the power of JavaScript, honestly. Plus I could build codes for the front end and back end at the same time, in a sense. But where I seen it shine and where I got most excited was just using WebSockets. Being able to have things instantaneously happen on my screen as well as someone else that has that same page open. It's addicting. So I would look into playing with WebSockets, maybe build a little chat application, or think of a way that low latency, like instant events, could be a benefit to your project. So let's see if our like counter's working tonight. If we get a like, it will show up right there. Let's see our viewer count. So we've got 9 folks watching. Guys, make sure you subscribe tonight. This little stream bar is new. And we've actually got some work to do on it as well. I'll go ahead and drop the Discord link in the chat. We've been building up a great little community over there. A lot of people have been sending me code to review, just code to show on the stream. And that's probably one of the more enjoyable things about these streams, other than showing you what I'm working on. So I'll go ahead and drop Discord link. All right, so you're in uni. You're in uni, so you want to get proficient with full stack. That's brilliant. I've been following the Odin project. I don't know if you're aware of them, but the journey is really long and I'm on a time crunch. So you can see I have a little situation going on with my TTS system where it's skipping some messages. I'll have to address that. But I'm going to take a quick look at the Odin project. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of like a free bootcamp type of thing. I like it. Also, a big shout out to their artwork here. This is isometric, so it's the same kind of style you see in my little game here. Let's bring it up. A 2.5D perspective. Love it. And this is all web. This is all JavaScript. It's peer-to-peer functionality. Peer-to-peer, sorry. So we have a full system here to share cameras, share desktops, share screens. Makes it really easy to do streams. But Odin projects looks interesting. Yeah, so React, absolutely focus on that. And focus on your nodejs. You're going to want to focus on connected to databases like
that
MongoDB.
Looks amazing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you very much. Appreciate that. And yeah, it's been a labor of love over time, building all this, and it's kind of cool to be at the point where I'm on here and able to use it to put streams together and have you guys come on. I think I might sign up for this Odin project just to see what we have going on here. So we have CodeLoch dev@gmail.com. I'll just sign up so I have it saved. Oh. Cool. I like stuff like this. Alright, so you said it's highly recommended by a ton of users on Reddit. They throw you into the real world and make you code things for yourself. Yeah, that's exactly how it is when you get into a job. So you may as well get started now. And, one of the things that I find helpful, I'll tell you even just with someone that had experience in this industry, but also being self-taught, you're always going to have you're always going to feel like you should know more. Don't see that as a bad thing. That's what encourages you to keep learning. And it's when you think you know it all that you become a bad developer and you're not good to anyone. So how do we start? Let's rework. All right, so look, this sets up like a wee course here.
Gotcha.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we'll bookmark that. have a look at our code as well. Just want to get some progress in here. And feel free to ask any questions as I work through this. So once again, we're hopping into basically the plugin system I wrote from a server here on the room layer. This way, multiple different people can run their own instances of this. And we're going to set up kind of a OBS controller. So if we take a look at this, you can see I have all these little control panels for these services I'm integrated with, right? We have Twitch, I have YouTube, that's a lot more settings. With the TTS panel that I have to finish out building. And then we have OBS. So what we're basically looking to do is to, forgive my dirty screen, it's kind of a backup laptop. But this is a software people use to go live on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, stuff like that all at once.
So if you wanted to learn about something new, like Socket, do you read documentation or see tutorials? What did you recommend?
So that's a great question. So for sockets, all of the above. All of the above. And look for demos. Look for demos like that you can see instantly and we could pull up. So I could pull up some socket demos, and we can even go a little bit deeper into WebRTC, which is WebSockets on steroids. So think of WebSockets but peer-to-peer. So you can send files to other tabs, other computers. You can send video, screen share without even technically running it through a server. It does get a little bit complicated when you're behind a NAT, but you'll set up a stun server, you'll set up a turn server that kind of handles all that for you. And good morning, welcome to the stream. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Sitting here coding the system live that you hear talking, that's basically you guys. You're forever part of the stream, and any videos I do, like video updates on the channel, you guys are part of it. Especially if we get some interesting moments and questions like we've already got tonight.
And when required, based on project usage?
Yep, essentially. And then just look for opportunities and like where to push the envelope a little bit. Like, yeah, WebSockets are great, but wouldn't WebSockets that are peer-to-peer be better? So that's why I looked into WebRTC, and it took me 20 years of JavaScript before I ever worked with WebRTC. So there's always time to pick up new stuff. And cheers for that like. Our like counter should update.
Awesome. That's 2 likes now. Your support helps others discover this stream.
Brilliant. And yeah, pushing that envelope where you can. All right. And for example, I started off just wanting to have WebSockets to do instantaneous chat. So if you type in this, like, having a little IM system so you can move your avatar around the screen, all that stuff. But now it turned into some live chat services like Twitch use WebSockets. So like the integration I wrote for them is basically a WebSocket-like implementation. Control and OBS uses WebSockets. So you're going to find that some APIs are not all RESTful, especially ones that are low latency, immediate feedbacks type stuff. So think of live chats, messengers, games, 100% games. Like all your shooters, all your multiplayer games are driven by sockets. And when you drill a little bit deeper, you'd have a difference between TCP and UDP, but you don't really have to worry about that in web. You can be using TCP.
Gotcha.
Got another like.
Boom. Like number 3. You're helping this project go viral.
We have to be optimistic, guys. You know, someone has to think it. All right. So just to kind of update what I was doing here, we've got 3 or 4 actions we're going to trigger on OBS. Starting and stopping a stream, starting and stopping a recording, and we'll just kind of start there. We do have a little bit of refactoring to do in here, but my main thing is just to get everything working properly. So this is on the nodejs side. We also do have our React JavaScript side that basically integrates with it. So for the one learning Node.js, look how nice it is to connect to like WebSockets. So on my React, basically, I set up like an event system. It's just kind of built on the architecture of how WebSockets work, where I listen to specific custom events that can be fired from the client to the server, or to the server to the client, or vice versa. And so say I want to listen.
Just wondering, is it possible to be able to contribute in open source games as a new developer?
So that's a good question. I suppose, yeah, you just have to be able to, you have to be able to find a project. But I know any project that's open source, you can technically open up a pull request against, and we could explore that process. I'm taking it you have a little bit of familiarity with Git resource control. It's nothing crazy, but just wondering. But yeah, essentially in here we're able to tie into our backend without making any get post API calls. And much appreciate the sub, and appreciate checking back as well. You're exactly the type of folks that I'm hoping would subscribe. So you have a great day and a great night wherever you are. Look at that viewer count. It's not
laughing
bad.
face.
Brilliant. Let's ensure that our Discord connection is up. It should be. There we go. We're up in Discord now. For those folks who don't know, you can chat with us directly in the live chat. You get a little avatar up on the screen. You could do that on Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. And there is Kick integration, but I have not released it yet. And I'm actually just going to take a quick nosy over there and see what's going on. That's okay, is it? Okay. All right. So I'm thinking, instead of when we call an action to OBS, we basically have a couple of ways we could get the state back. One, we could await the response to that action, which is great for actions that have just occurred. Let's say you have to reload, or someone else is managing your stream. They won't have that state. So I think what's going to make most sense to get going is we'll have a generic get state from OBS that will check if we're recording, if we're streaming, if we're connected, and then it will dispatch that state whenever you interact with UI or something new happens. So we're going to kind of operate on that premise, and we're going to nudge our way through this, make a sausage. Alright, so this is just populating our states. I do want to understand what other potential events we could call from OBS. Documentation is kind of sorely lacking, so let's have a look at what we can do about that. Oh, interesting. So we can actually ask OBS to tell us everything it can do. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll hijack maybe the connect method. We do want to make this async, so we should probably just start there. So let's go do that. It's a lot nicer using await over promises directly. It's just cleaner, but we do have to make this method async. And then we'll come in here, we'll be able to get rid of this. Yes, Lint is probably not going to cooperate, but we'll work through it. Where this OBS connect. Okay. Terminate if we don't get a response. And what we actually have to do is wrap this in a try catch. It's a wee bit risky to not do that, especially when you're calling an external API. Let's see if we could get away with just wrapping this whole thing here. Yes, Lint doesn't want to cooperate. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, guys. Oh, what's going on here? Alright, so if this throws an error, that'll be just fine. Let's clean up our connection info here. We're going to use destructuring, it's kind of a favorite of mine. We import, we're going to pull that from this state config. And destructuring essentially lets you create local variables by destructuring properties of another object. And then we can get rid of this deep referencing here. We want to keep our functions and methods nice and readable. Verbosity is a good thing, but nested properties, not so much. If you're going to access a nested property, do it once. Say up here where you could write defaults. Like, you know, I could write a default port here. That's just cleaner. So we'll work our way through this. Every this we get rid of, the better we feel. Alright. I think that'll work right there. A bit by mosquito though. Make sure you ask your code questions. Don't wait till I get off stream this time. Last night, I said I was finally getting off. And it's like, hey, before you go, what's the best language for game development? And it's like, guys, you had me here for 2 hours. Let's carry on. So what did I want to do? I wanted to get a list of all the potential methods from OBS, right? So let's just build like a little exploratory function, call it explore. So I already wrote a little handler function to let me call OBS nicely. Kind of wraps the error handling for me. Oh, this mosquito is aggressive. could just do it up there actually. There is a property called identified. It should signal if we're actually logged in, right? Let's make sure we're subscribed to that as well. What we're actually going to do is we're going to reorder our event listeners when we get done here. As usual, arrow functions are a lifesaver in modern day JavaScript. Okay, so once we're identified, we want to log a couple of things. This essentially means we got authenticated to OBS and we can make further actions, right? So there is a property called hello. Get access without destruction just by doing this. I'm curious if this is actually a real property or we're just getting sent down the rabbit hole. Let's send ourselves an alert. So server alert socket. Oops. Put this in as the body. And let's just log it for safekeeping. Alright, let's quickly start up a wee server. So our server actually does have a lot going on. It is running in a Docker container. It does connect to MongoDB as a reverse proxy. It makes WebRTC available. And obviously WebSockets. Plus you can see I have this massive list of plugins that I wrote just for the server layer. And we actually have plugins for the room layer as well that are now being listed there. Let's go ahead and reload. So OBS is up on the computer on my lap here. I'm gonna click connect, just see what happens. Alright, error not connected. Hit it again. So some of the changes I did for actually initiating a connection failed. So there might be a reason why I had this set up as taking a look at our logs here. So we did get an authenticated call. This OBS is not defined. Where am I pulling that from? Oh, that was an issue. Right, what now? Socket is not defined. We cannot pass a socket into load. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll replace this with a room send all alert. Give that a wee test. So this room send all. Now we put a packet name. It's going to be Kynto event alert. What is uppercase? Okay. We've been convoluted in that. Okay. So something you'll be doing when you're coding. Anyone that's been coding here for a while or just getting into it with a test is you're going to be restarting your project a lot, such as life. Right, connected to OBS Studio, authenticated OBS actions are defined. So I think we got a fake property. All right, here's a wee helpful list. Oh. We could do quite a bit here. Let's first look at our error. Make my screen bigger and bring over my logs. So this is essentially what I'm responding to when I make code changes here. You can see we did have a successful connection to OBS Studio on port, on IP.108 port 445. And I get a response, it's not defined. Just got on the scale, right? So what line was that? 116. So we're looking for 116, which is right here. Oh, that's why. Right, time for another restart. Back over here, reload it, and see a flood of packets. It's like what makes the system work. All the GET requests, all the WebSocket requests, all that stuff. What we're looking for is our OBS panel. We're going to hit connect and you'll see a flurry of activity over here. You're now successfully connected to OBS. You may stream now. Brilliant. And if you look at my computer over here, dirty old screen, you can see there's one record marking a connection. So that's good. So we are connected. And let's see, did identified come in first? Or what was the order here? So we got authenticated. And we got connected. And I got an error. Fair enough. Let's see, can I trigger a recording from here? Record. Update is recording. And it is recording locally. However, on my system, on my front end, it's not reflecting that. So let's go ahead and make some changes to ensure that it is. So I'm going to go preactively kill the server. We'll scroll down. And what we're going to do is we're going to populate a state actually invokes the action we want. And then we should get something a lot closer to what we expect, right? Oh yes, Link. It's bugging off tonight. We'll restart our server. We'll reload. Connect. Connected again. It does say we're recording, so it did successfully detect that I am recording already in OBS, which is true. So I'm going to click stop recording. Let's see if the record button becomes active again. There's the URL, but it's still showing that we're recording. So we're going to have to add a little delay in here, essentially. We are awaiting the call, so why? Is there a way to listen for a state change? We're looking for an event that lets us subscribe to state changes that happen in OBS. So it looks like there's two events we can tie into. There's stream state changed and record state changed. So let's tie into them. Keep in mind when code in like this, where I put the code now isn't necessarily where it's going to stay. It's kind of important that you know that. We're just kind of stubbing it all out. So there's an opportunity to update our record state, and OBS on. And since your connection with OBS is kind of a one-on-one thing, we don't have to worry about scaling this, because this is unique to each room owner, and they will have control over their own OBS instance. So we're not going to have to worry too much about...
Christian Barrero says hello. What are we working on today? I just got...
Hey buddy, good to see you here. So tonight we're working on, if you know what OBS is, OBS is a little tool that lets you stream, right? What I'm doing is building a WebSocket adapter, so Kynto can control OBS remotely. Essentially the goal is here is to make Kynto, so when out and about, I'm able to stream with the avatars. That's kind of the goal here. So we're making it so we can connect to OBS, we can start and stop a stream, let's say to YouTube, right, how this one's coming through, and start and stop recording. So we're taking advantage of something called OBS's WebSocket API, and they actually built it into OBS. So there's kind of another integration that I wanted to get done, and we've already got it working. It's connecting, it can start and stop a stream, it can start and stop a recording. Now we're just making the UI responsive. Try to get through this one as quick as possible, because there's some more exciting stuff coming. Specifically getting this in Discord as a Discord activity. But let's carry on with OBS tonight. And how's your week going? So we'll just dirtily set the state here by listening to record state changed. It's recording. Get that from data output state. And as usual, I'm always struggling for documentation, integrating these APIs, so we get to stumble through this together. Oh, that's a lot of stumbling. Sure. 22 folks, guys. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, talk about your projects, ask about what I'm working on, and I'll drop the Discord link for those that aren't in it already. Appreciate you being here. Christian, very happy to see you back. Okay, so same deal here. We're just going to update our streaming property if we have some new data. So I love the event architecture and JavaScript, because so many platforms and integrations tie into it nicely, right? Like WebSockets, beautiful, peer-to-peer, same deal. And a lot of integrations to live chats and third-party services where low latency matters. We're getting that same advantage. And I actually want to do a video or a stream on how to build kind of like little plugins for this system right here. Like try to get other people to contribute as well. So we'll see if there's some interest for that. So output state. Ooh. We're looking for a Boolean. We're better just, I see. Yeah, we might just call our function that already populates this, because this data object doesn't return a nice clean boolean. It returns essentially an enum. But doesn't give us access to that enum right here. So what we'll do is we'll just call it our populate latest state, which will ask OBS if it's recording, if it's streaming. And just so you guys know, I do plan on phasing out OBS completely. But to do that, and we're halfway there, we have to set up an RTMP server. And I do have that set up here. We can even demonstrate that tonight. So I can run my own stream on my little architecture here. But what we need to actually do with the Kynto app is build a program to essentially a native application that wraps Kynto that can screen capture and mix audio from a web view along with your microphone. So it's going to be kind of an interesting project, but it would make it so you could stream right to YouTube with avatars on your screen, and other people could join your YouTube stream by opening up a special invite link you sent them. That already works, but I just want to make it so like everyone else could maybe give this a wee go. It's just it's a fun thing to work on. Okay, let's carry on. I think we're due for a reload here. And, let's clear up our logs so we're not getting a bunch of junk, because none of this was working anyway. Pull that out. Hit reload, you're going to see a flood of packets come through. Got all that stuff in the background. Beautiful. Yes, we'll click connect. Successfully connected. We're not recording and we're not streaming. So if I click record here, ideally I want this button to grey out and then the stop recording to become clickable. Let's see if it will behave. It did. Perfect. Let's see if stop recording will do the same. It did. If you look at my computer here, it's kind of hard. Let me dim this light. Alright, so pay attention to this bit right here where it says start and stop stream, right? So you can see this screen here, and I'm going to click. I'm going to click stop recording. Okay, I'm going to click record. And you see instantaneously how that goes to blue or purple. I'm colorblind. And if I click stop recording, boom, the recording has been stopped. And we should be able to do the same for streaming, even though this doesn't have a streaming profile set up. We'll set up a custom server that I built. So I'll click start, we'll get an error in OBS. Perfect. So we're already controlling OBS. So we're already halfway there.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate you. So we do have anything. Might be a little bit cleaner. We just completely hide the buttons that are not to be used right now. So it's really easy to do that in a React side. So these are all the little buttons you see in the UI there, start and stop. Say we want to hide this start recording button, because you've already started a recording. You just come in here and do this. So I have a property called isRecording. And we do ampersand, ampersand. And then if it's different than recording, then we want to show this. Right? And then we want to do the opposite for isRecording for our stop button. So we want to show our stop button if the state is marked as the isRecording. And we'll just quickly run through and do it for our stream buttons as well. And then we'll end up with a tidier API UI. It's supposed to be, it's different than streaming. It's okay.
There's a character limit for display. I asked sewing, but the text didn't appear.
Okay, good to know. And it looks like you got a false flag on part of your message, so we're going to fix that right now. I appreciate the question. So you said, I've noticed that you don't use tools like Claude Code or Copilot. Is there a reason? I'm asking because everyone uses these tools these days. I think there is a wee bit of a reason. Like, so I do like to use AI. I'll have like it up off screen if I want to like pull information on docs, right? I have a really hard time finding docs for WebSocket, for the OBS integration here. But I kind of enjoy coding, and I'm kind of scared of losing that completely. Like, I feel like Google's already done enough damage. So when it comes to working on this, I don't know. I think there's, at least for right now, I kind of enjoy the process. And also, I think I'm aware too that people might be learning how to code who are looking at this stuff. So I'm okay taking the long way around. All right, why am I not seeing the changes here? That's a good question. And I do have some TTS updates to do for the TTS panel. So once we get through OBS, we're going to circle back. This will ensure that all messages that get typed out in live chat either are valid, do get read out. Because, you know, there's instances where it clearly just doesn't read them out. Do you use Claude and Copilot yourself? Alright, so now we're just seeing a couple buttons here, which is perfect. Let's do the same for connect and disconnect. I think AI though, in like a good developer's hands, it's like a bloody powerhouse. Like, absolutely, when it comes to debugging, even coding and stuff. Like, I totally get it. I'm just kind of afraid that like people are gonna forget how to code without it, if that makes sense. It's connected, it's not defined. All right. Looks like we are not. Ooh, register. Looks like we're not populating it as connected state. Oh yeah, it's connected. That should fix it.
Yes. I use it every day, especially Copilot. I like writing code, but sometimes I just need to get ahead.
So what languages are you working in with Copilot? Like, I'm very curious. Perfect. Let's do some styling down here, I think. Like Copilot with view free and stuff is very useful to generate jest tests. So I've used it at work for that. Although the tests that generate like don't always work, you know, because components can be pretty complicated when like multiple people are working on them. But it's a powerhouse for like debugging or refactoring. Like, I think I integrated AI into Kynto long before I ever like even gave Copilot a try. So this Kynto developer AI avatar is probably about 2 years old now. Like I was within the first month of it, ChatGPT free, like going global. I realized it was like 8 months before they actually, like they released 8 months previous to all that. I came in and implemented it here, and I worked with Kynto developer a lot to do some cool stuff in here. Like it kind of helped me build it into here, which was a crazy process. You can kind of see the experiments I had then. You can also see DALL-E 1. It was terrible at generating images, where today, is it DALL-E 3 or DALL-E 4? Is it image powerhouse? This is the unbiased archaeologist. Alright, let's carry on. When we first open our React component dialog or model, we want to get state. Okay, I'm curious why it's not reading out your messages right now. Let's see what's going on now.
Testing YouTube live chat.
Alright, we've got an investigation to do, haven't we? Okay, cool. So you're doing React Native and Node.js. Very sweet. How long have you been working with React Native and all that stuff? I tried to convince my job to use React Native for a mobile app, but they ended up doing Java and doing Switch UI. Because I had experience writing mobile apps, they put me on the Switch UI team. Keep in mind I was hired as a web developer at that company. Okay, so we want to fire off the method when this is initially shown. So what we're going to do, it could be kind of dangerous to just fire it whenever this is opened, but we could just see what happens. Let's see, we blow the world up. I get told off by Christian. Oh, okay. So we got to clean up some of this code. Keep in mind, some of it's quite old. But we got to add a get state.
I started working with Angular, then I moved to React.js and I've been working only with React Native for about 3 years.
Okay, sweet. I'm curious because you started with Angular and went into React.js. What do you think? What do you think about Angular now, like compared to React.js? So if we close this and open it back up, let's see if it pulls our state back. It didn't. I had to click connect again. Interesting. So I'm taking a look at OBS's WebSockets server settings to see if this is truly disconnected. I'm going to hit disconnect. And it's not. All right, let's see. Quest type is not valid. That's because we have to connect to disconnect. Is that essentially what it's in? Okay. Sending disconnected and populated state. Oh yeah, we're not populating if it's actually connected or not. We are here. Is there a way to listen for OBS disconnected event? Let's ask GPT. So it looks like there's a connection closed event. We're going to move around our event listeners and stuff once we're done in here. We're just kind of setting everything up first. It's possible this will get fired multiple times and this whole chain, yeah. But we're kind of just building this to get it working and then we'll move it out. Oops. But I should take care of what's there. Hello Martin, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat and thank you for the like if that was you. Let's get up on the screen there.
You're
Sweet.
amazing. 4 likes now. Let's keep pushing Kynto to the front.
Popular viewer account. And, let's see how we're doing in subs today, guys. Are you guys subscribing for more stuff? Yeah, actually, brilliant. 3 more subs will get this counter up from 3180 to 3190. Brilliant. Let me get a wee drink here. We'll carry on. We're making good time tonight. Pretty sure we might give desktop streams a go. Once I'm done setting up this OBS controller in Kynto, I'll essentially be able to easily do different stream formats. So I had a couple of folks ask for that, and we'll be able to bring that to YouTube. We might be building up enough of a little audience where it might be worth a wee shot. And if it doesn't work, we'll just come right back to this. Cool. So someone sent a spam message on Twitch, but it didn't get through the system. That's good. Once we get through this OBS stuff, we're going to switch right back and play around with the gamification aspects of the stream as well. I think that's actually, kind of, I think it's had a little effect, so I'd like to play with that some more. The truth is, I have a billion things I want to do, and we can get through any one of them. So each night, it could literally be anything, right? Connect. We're connected. Brilliant. So if I just close this, we're not storing any of this in like the application context. I don't want to. Kind of want it fresh each time, but it doesn't look like it's pulling out. So let's go back here, and I'm going to introduce a. Oop, not there.
But I think Angular with the latest releases is pretty cool in theory, but I haven't used it yet.
Well, I appreciate that you're self-taught 100%. Also cut from the same stock. That's very cool. Yeah, and I think that's why I went to React as well. What's funny though is the first job that actually like used a proper JS framework was actually Vue. I had to learn a new one on the spot, but it's very similar to React. Wasn't a problem at all. So I might have to take a little look at Angular. I haven't had a good look for a good couple of years actually. And I'm curious, do you think learning coding before the AI era, do you think it makes you better at using AI today than maybe someone that didn't learn coding first before they learned how to, you know, assemble a website with AI, essentially? For those folks listening, I'm going to drop the Discord link again. We can have a wee community. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So I get a wee bit annoyed when I hear people saying like, oh yeah, anyone can be a coder now, but it's like, yeah, but can you be a good coder? It's like, you know, ChatGPT can generate, like you can generate like a rebuttal in court or a filing with ChatGPT, but a lawyer is going to be able to use ChatGPT way more efficiently than, you know, I would. I don't think it's any different for programming. In fact, I think it's even more relevant because programming is just a very meta thing. It just is. Quite people watching. Let's see. I feel that learning game development before I really got.
Nezapozlan123 says, do you use async await in functions?
Oh yes, sir. Good call. Like right here. With this project, you're going to see that I prefer using things that can be awaited. Some things, like I could build a promise wrapper around and then await, but when we're doing like event handlers, it doesn't always make sense to make them awaitable. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, that's a good question. I could give you a quick example. I'm sure you know how to do this, but if we wanted to make this awaitable, we could do something like this. And, there's a couple different ways you can do this, but this is the old way.
Thanks, man.
So let's see, what am I doing here? So project, pop this. Okay. ESLint isn't working, so bear with me. And then in here, when this event handler gets invoked, I would just do resolve through. Oops. And fix this. Then you could just technically await this. You could put this in another function if you wanted. Let's do that. Something like this. So you could make like a WebSocket event. You can make that awaitable or something like this. So we could just, you know, now in the future we could just call is connected await is connected listener and we get result. I know you could just, like, instead of this you could use promise.resolve as a static, but I'm not going to dig into that.
The other thing is that since I know how to code, sometimes I'm using Claude Code for 8 hours and never hit the limit because my questions are so precise that the AI doesn't waste tokens.
Absolutely, 100%.
Or hallucinate.
Yes. Like, it sounds like you're also, you know, instead of trying to feed the entire project in, you're trying to feed the context of what you're working on at that time. And you have enough understanding of what you're doing, what you wanted to say back, that, yeah, you could just powerhouse it. And I think, you know, like AI in a developer's hands, such as yourself, it just amplifies what you could already do. Like, that's been my experience with it. It was also incredibly helpful for helping me understand WebRTC, because WebRTC is complicated stuff. It's bloody complicated. It's one of the bigger things that I've ever bit into on the browser. I do think having experience building games before, even just little ones, learning how sockets and stuff work as a kid, even before we got WebSockets on the web, have been immensely helpful for me.
Simplays says, hey, I'm in like my first sem, learned MERN stack R and built one project, will build more. What should I focus on more?
That's a great question. Really, it comes down to what do you want to build. I could tell you maybe the sort of stuff that I think you'd get, you know, hired for. Web's always.
Mujiwara says your setup looks cool.
Appreciate you, buddy. This is what we're coding on tonight. Building this project that kind of powers this whole setup here. But I really appreciate your feedback. If you can, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out, it helps us grow. And find more folks like yourself. So Simplays. In your first semester and you learnt the MERN stack. Is that Mongo? Let's see. You're using MongoDB, so that's actually what I'm using for my database here. Using Express, React, and Node.js. So, I mean, that's a solid stack to start with. That's what Christian and I are just basically talking about in a sense as well, although he's more heavier on the React Native side. The thing is like, I think you should have a good focus on what the capabilities of the browser. One of the less explored parts of it, just for web developers in general, is the canvas tag and WebGL. You could do full 3D, you could do augmented reality, you could do virtual reality games, all right in canvas tag. And there's a couple of libraries that'll make that easy for you. I recommend you check out Free.js. This is just for fun. I mean, if you really want to get crazy, check out Free.js. It's got a nice, familiar API. You can build remarkable stuff just on the browser. Like if we were to inspect this, let's see, it's disabled to inspector. Give me a second.
Okay.
If we inspect this element here, you see it's the canvas, right? Canvas is one of the core elements I've ever seen come to the web. Essentially, it's an image that updates 60 times a second, or it could be 120 times a second, but it's an image that you completely control pixel by pixel. And that's kind of what I'm using for the avatars down here, just obviously in a much simpler way. But yeah, check that out, man. It's fun stuff. There's also 2D versions of that, so if you look at is it free? If you want to build like a little game with your new stack, you'd easily be able to build a nice 2D game with like a leaderboard, sign up.
And I mean, I have the cheapest plan, the $20 one, and I never hit the limit, haha.
Yeah, man. I want to know some of your prompts, honestly. I want to, like, you're this sort of person that I'm very interested in, like, how is it you exactly interact with AI? Because if you think about it, you're, like, as
and I
all
wonder
here,
how other people
first generation.
work when they say Claude's $200 plan isn't enough for them. Okay, thanks for the advice, really appreciate it.
Christian, that's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. Yeah, God help the folks that just rely on AI completely as well to learn. Because I mean, there's always a chance this sort of technology could be, I don't know, scaled back, turned off. We've kind of seen that happen to drones. I don't think it'll happen to AI in that same way, but I fear for people. And sim plays, yes, anytime, buddy. Don't know if you're on our Discord, but I'll go ahead and drop a link for that. Starting to try and build up a little community over there. So if you're interested, well, I'm about to post some code into the chat instead. Alright, one more subscriber and we can get this counter up from 3180 to 3190. So someone's going to push us over the edge. That's brilliant. But yeah, we're going to spend some time in Free.js, specifically because I have the beta quest free, and like VR, definitely one of those things that are still being hammered out. It's a little niche right now, but it is widely accessible to consumers, and being able to distribute your applications and experiences directly on a web page, man, you can't beat that type of exposure. So Christian, you do a lot of React Native stuff, so that tells me you're very familiar with pushing apps to app stores. You know how tedious that process is. And you're lucky with React Native that you can publish to a bunch of different targets, even including web. But imagine companies and teams that just build, you know, for Android, build for SwiftUI for iOS. They're kind of limited in what they can do because they have to replicate everything they do at least twice. If they want to hit web, that's 3 times. So I'm a big believer in building, you know, native applications, but build hybrid apps when you can. Like I wouldn't build Google Maps as a native component. All right. grab a wee drink here. We'll carry on. I'm surrounded by dogs at my feet right now. They come in the morning when I have to work for my day job, and then at night when I come in to stream, I just have dogs passed out all around me. Pop it down for a wee second. Right, so I think we will be able to use this over the weekend. So just so you guys know my little schedule a little bit. It's changed over the last couple of months. Went through some massive life changes outside of this stream. I doubt anyone listening will have any awareness of what I'm talking about, but essentially I ended up with 2 places. So I have my main house here where I'm at during the week, and I got when I was 20 years old. I'm still paying a mortgage on it. So that's cool, but it's kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And then the weekend I like to be close to the beach. Well, I ended up renting like a little camper van outside the same property that when I first moved to America I ended up in. A family friend owns it now. So during the weekend, I'm essentially in town and I have access to, like cell phone signal works, so I can go on my bike and do all sorts of stuff. What we're going to try to do is we're going to take Kynto with us on the phone and explore a little bit of Florida a little bit. So bringing the avatars along for maybe some fishing, eventually some diving once I figure out how to rig up. Waterproof camera solution to get the signal up. That would be the ideal scenario. And you're just gonna get to see like me riding around town a little bit. I'll still bring a laptop, so I'll be able to do some development there as well at night time. But it's pretty cool being in town. I can walk to get sushi. I can have a wee brewski and just kind of enjoy Florida life. Because I work hard during the week and I'm on here late at night coding regardless, but don't pit me for that one, I enjoy it. So I do want to make sure we're in good shape though, so we can do that.
I've been spending the last 3 days just fixing the app that became full of bugs because of dependency incompatibilities after updating the SDK.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, you're giving me shivers. I'll give you an example of a completely dumb API update that broke even this. So I used a silly little emoji selector. And it like has an event that it calls when you select an emoji, right? It's supposed to pass like the emoji text and like an object. Well, they switched the order of the parameters. And because they're not using like named parameters, like an object would be structure on the other side, they're just using incremented parameters and a standard function. It essentially broke my implementation plus tons of other people's, all just because they switched to order of 2 arguments. So that's why I'm a big fan of, you don't really see it here, let's see a better example. But you'll think of a better name. Where are we? Yeah, so when I say using like destructure, like here, I use an object for my properties, for my arguments, my methods. That way, if I want to change the order or add additional properties, I'm not going to blow up any code that I have that depends on this property already. I find even just that small thinking, especially in like context of like APIs or shared libraries, saves so much hassle. Because even still with this, you're going to run into all sorts of issues, right, when pushing an SDK update. But yeah, I hope this comes more commonplace. Use structured arguments and use destructuring, and that's not, we can only do so much on our end, but hopefully more people start to pick that one up. Yeah, so you said what you dislike. Christian said, what I dislike about developing native or hybrid apps is that they need constant maintenance. Google Play and Apple are always requiring SDK updates, and it breaks everything. It's so bloody true. It's so true. And I'll give you an example. Kynto app was in the iOS and Android store, and I was really excited when I got up there, right? It was like a lot of work, especially for something with like so many social media aspects and ability to like stream cameras and stuff. Well, eventually got knocked off the store because of a DMCA complaint. And it turns out that the person that submitted the DMCA complaint actually revoked it. They didn't intend to do what they did. But they basically started a chain of events that took out my apps completely from the store. Completely. And I could put them back up there. But, it's a bunch of bloody work. And I have to go through, I'm using React Native to basically wrap this and provide like additional permissions to do some other stuff that I want to do. But yeah, it's an absolute nightmare keeping an app up in an app store. Especially anything that's just not like a static 1 to 5 page app. It's difficult, it's a pain, and that's why you get paid what you do, Christian. But it's one of the reasons why I love web. And the funny thing is, Steve Jobs originally, and this pissed me off when he first did this, but they actually grew on me with time. So when Steve Jobs first rolled out, hold on, let me change the song. So when the iPhone was first rolled out, they didn't have any plans on releasing an app store. They believed it was just going to be all web apps, and it was kind of a really forward-thinking thing. And in a sense, what came out of that was WebKit actually came from Apple's development of Safari. And WebKit is where we have Chrome today, and we have all this other stuff. I think even Edge uses WebKit today. But Steve Jobs essentially killed off Flash. And when I first started learning to code, I was building games just like this, but I was doing it in JavaScript and using the document object model, literally using images and absolute position them on screen and just kind of treating them as sprites. So I was able to code like what you see here is just like slower, and didn't use WebSockets at the time because it didn't exist. So eventually got talked into using ActionScript, and ActionScript 3 was kind of like the precursor to TypeScript. Very nice language, very well, like the libraries, the organization of the packages and stuff, really nice, love it. And you can actually see an example of Kynto and the ActionScript 3 in my GitHub. It's like pretty clean code, even looking back 16 years now. Steve Jobs essentially said, no Flash, we're not having it. And every single Flash website, Flash player, shown as a black box of the original iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch. And his whole reasoning was that the web will catch up, and it did. But in the process, Apple obviously went ahead and created an app store. It just turned out to be such a profitable thing for them. But thankfully, they did kind of push web forward at the time they did. It's just up to us as developers to try and show others like it really is the powerhouse. It is the desktop that we want to focus on. All right, tangent over. Yo, got an additional subscriber, so let's hit our update for sub counter. We get subscriber count from YouTube in groups of 10. So
1 new subscriber.
Technically it was 10. You see the counter up there, 3190, so I appreciate you subscribing. It helps us out, and hopefully you get to see us another night.
Praise_thegod says, what are you building?
So tonight I'm building a little interface to OBS. So this little stream tool that we just talked through, I use to share my screen and cameras and stuff. Can control OBS, so I could do mobile streaming. Appreciate the question. Let me know if there's anything else I can answer.
Cool.
Sweet, appreciate you. Yeah, if you're interested, drop a like and subscribe. It's kind of a cool experiment. I want to see one day how many avatars we can get to show on the screen. And just a quick update for you, because you asked, this is integrated into Twitch. So we're on a Twitch simulcast, I don't know how you call it. We run on YouTube. You can also chat via Discord. And then Kick we're live on, but the integration only works on localhost right now. Essentially, yeah. I have a way around this, but it essentially requires pulling in Puppeteer, which is kind of an automation framework to kind of scrape the Kick chat. And to have that work, I don't want to put that in my main Docker container. It's just too chunky for the server. So we're either going to spin this off as a microservice, or yeah, we'll likely do that. Sweet, we just got 2 new subscribers. Appreciate you guys. The only other thing I could say, if you do want to help the channel, just drop a like on the video. What it does is it tells YouTube you like it. And then, yeah, it helps. But subscribing is like the main thing. I already did that. Let's just do a quick appreciate the like. Let's do it. I kind of think we'll be able to handle, I don't know, like 100 avatars at once, and then we'd have to start ghosting people in and out of existence, depending on how like soon or recently they interacted. I've actually loaded like 1,000 avatars in a room and it performed okay. But as for actually people that chat, and I don't know, man. Each avatar is actually composed of a ton of different sprites. It's not just one image. Although I think I did optimize that a bit. There's actually like 8 images because you like layer it. It's a sprite sheet and it's stacked on top of each other. Like there's a sprite sheet for the hair, for the face, for the shirt, pants, all that good stuff. Okay, so I want to build a little table down here which shows some information about our stream. So we could reuse a component that I built for the YouTube integration, or we could decide to make our own one. So if I look at YouTube here, just a little table. Suppose where was last up. No, I'll make our own one. I'm not kidding. So Hitchin says I use Puppeteer to render EGS templates and convert data to PDF documents. It's a really good library. Sweet. All right. Let me ask you, how are you deploying stuff that's using like Puppeteer? Like, are you containerizing it? Kubernetes, Docker, stuff like that. And hello, Gavin. How are you doing tonight? Or good day, wherever you might be at in the world. I think the engagement tonight with the stream has definitely helped our viewer counts tonight. That's for sure. So you guys subscribing and liking and chatting, keeping me company as I build this thing. Awesome. I think we're just managing this component pretty crappily. Let's take a look. I'm going to pull up the docs for React Bootstrap. I control the accordion. Eventually, I'd like to just get off React Bootstrap and hop completely over to Tailwind. But I'm committed, at least on the UI layer. But the cool way is, the way I built Kynto, is I could actually technically build the UI layer completely in a native app if I wanted to, and still be able to load in the Canvas and WebGL layer that talks to the server and handles all the peer-to-peer stuff. So technically, even the UI could be slipped out with something else in the future. And the same for the game layer. Like when it comes to exploring 3D, we could do just like the UI would be the same, but we control like a 3GS instance instead of a 2.5D Canvas instance. Kind of an advantage of building things to be modular and having different build pipelines for all the different parts of the project as well. Right, the one is speaking controlled. That's what I'm talking about for the different build pipelines, by the way. So what I'm actually going to do tomorrow night, before the weekend, we have to set up, basically duplicate the release pipeline for a staging pipeline. This one's out of date. So I can recreate my little staging server here, and we're going to use that to host live streams in-house. So I can get away with using like Puppeteer and stuff while I figure out how to essentially make it a microservice. So I'm kind of creating like a little sharding infrastructure over WebSockets, so we can start breaking off some responsibilities to different servers. Fun stuff, right?
One new subscriber.
Yeah, appreciate your support, guys. It reminds me that I'm still coding. So we'll quickly run through, give everything a key, and then so I essentially want the accordion to tell its child when it's open. Might just have to stumble through this to get something up tonight. But key. No. See, this is where the Copilot would come in useful. You just tell it what you want, spit it back out. What manage component? Alright, we'll come back to it. What we'll do is we'll just put a little fetch state button until we're happy with our solution. You can do all this inline if you like, but I noticed that performance-wise, it's best to kind of avoid that with React as it gets state. And so, then.
One new subscriber.
This weekend would be a good time to come back and really hyper focus on the TTS panel. So we can add a command to the YouTube chat and stuff so people can select their voice and persist it over time. So people can have unique voices forever. Plus, I don't want to miss good messages. Speaking of which, Christian says, I use Firebase Cloud Functions. It simplifies my life tremendously, but I understand that Firebase uses Docker under the hood. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so at work, myself, I've definitely used AWS's Lambda Gateway API and stuff to kind of do some more stuff. So that makes a ton of sense. And yeah, microservice development, just a heck of a lot easier, a lot less to worry about. It's a little weird at first, but I think like using tools like React help you learn this, how to like make things stateless, right? So you basically populate your state and context in that request as opposed to having access to like, you know, PHP. When I started out in PHP, you had like a session variable, and you're able to store, I don't know, your user ID and all this relevant stuff right in there. Where in a microservice architecture, you kind of just pass in all
the
your
upside
state
of
to
reading
it.
documentation as you do rather than simply asking AI is that it allows you to discover things you weren't even questioning, but which will prove valuable for the project's future.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Tremendously. And that happens to me a lot when I find myself on MSDN. Like even just the speech synthesis library and stuff. Once I was able to see what properties were available, I was able to then go back to AI and like kind of explore some possibilities with these properties, which I understood what it could do. Very good point. Also, we have another word to unban, so let me take a look at that. I see what word it banned. I'm not going to type that live here, but I will connect. So connect to a bad words filter, get this off screen, ban. All right, now that won't false flag us anymore. But yeah, very good point, Christian. Where is the tab?
One new subscriber.
Brilliant. We're actually doing really well on subs tonight. I think that says about 15. Maybe 5 more and we'll get to 200. It's incredible just for getting on here. And don't get me wrong, it's been a lot of streaming to the void. If you look at my early videos, it says literally coding into the void. I'm sure you could probably relate to that feeling. That's literally what I called my early streams. So I'd get on here and probably no one cared. And then I get one person come on and I get excited and try and explain what's happening, and then by the time I did, they drop off. But it's just the nature of things. Like it's kind of a niche thing we're doing over here. So it's taken a while for YouTube to find the audience, and just kind of had to come on here, just go for it. All right, fetch state, we are connected. So we just want this to trigger initially. And whatever properties you want to actually configure. So I think what we should do while we're actually here tonight is I set up an RTMP server. So I really do enjoy the power of Docker for deploying services. There's some things that can't be turned into a microservice that easy. We could investigate for real-time media protocol, but essentially what that's going to let us do is eventually phase out OBS completely. But we're going to use it as a stopgap. So we're going to push to the RTMP server, which pushes to YouTube, Twitch, everyone else all at once. So think of it as kind of what Restream does for streamers that pay a service. I'm not a fan of paying service fees if we can build it here. So let me pull up the settings on my streaming computer that I configured here. And I'll pull this up because it is related to what I'm building now. So I'm going to go into stream settings in OBS. I wish I could share the screen, but it's not hooked up. Actually, using Kynto, I can. Check this out. We could do this. Hopefully I don't log out in the main account here. But I'm about to demonstrate why this is cool. All right, let's make sure this computer is safe for work. I assume it is. All right, so what I'm going to share is OBS instance. So over here, I've got Kynto on my laptop, right? I'm going to click desktop, share desktop, and I'm going to pick, well, I have to allow it in system settings. Give me a second here. I'm going to click window, and I'm going to select OBS. I'm actually going to show you the setup process I'm doing here and the control. If this all works, this will be brilliant. Okay. So hopefully I don't think you've seen my settings screen now. But right, this is OBS. So let's see, how does that look? Looks like it works. Alright, so now if I click record here, you'll see that little record button highlights that blue color or purple color in the screen. And I'm doing this from Kynto. If I hit stop record, it stops the recording. If I hit start streaming, you get an error, but you can't see it. So what I'm going to do is share my full screen here. And this is all just built using the web, and this is what it's all about, guys. Alright, so I'm sharing my full screen, right? We're in a blank OBS instance. Are you seeing my full screen? Let me check.
Nice.
Yes. So we're in a blank OBS. The color filters creeping me out. I can turn that off. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into settings, into stream, and then I'm going to set up custom. And then our server is running in a local Docker container. So I'm going to type RTMP 10.10.29.1935 for the port /stream. And I would just populate a key, which I think is this. And I hit OK. Now I'm going to need something to show on this test stream. So what actually I'm going to do is probably just set up a source that captures my browser window. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, I forgot I could literally just pull this up and show you guys. Where am I? So I'm looking for application capture. This is it. Let's just select a window. Then we can select Kynto itself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stream this into our own little custom RTMP server. And we're going to control the stream start and stop with this, and then connect on VLC with this. So we're doing like a proper all-around test tonight. All right. So I've got that done. I think we're ready to click start stream. And you can still see that. Yep, you can still see that. So if I come in here and click start streaming, let's see what happens. Yay, so it's just asking for permission. I've failed to connect to the host. So I'm going to have to tweak this a little bit. So it was I didn't plan on showing this, but that's fine. That's how we do it. So I might have to ensure that this Docker is actually up and running. Spell something. See? Oh yeah, it's working now. Alright, so if I click stop streaming over here, yep, it's perfect. Look, I can start and stop the stream. Alright, to prove it works, I'm going to open up VLC player, and I'm going to connect to the Docker instance running my little RTMP, like restreaming instance. It takes a little second. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the HLS video to work, so we can actually embed it in a web player. I'll give this a second. Let's check chat while it's taking its sweet time. Alright. So you can see I have a couple examples that was testing, and one of them works, I promise. We can start the recording here as well, just while this is doing it. So like typically when I'm streaming, I like to record and stream, so that way in the future I can come back, you know, kind of clip stuff together. And I do actually record in full horizontal mode, so like, you know, your long form YouTube stuff. So I haven't done an update on the whole live chat integration at all yet, so I think I'm going to do a 6-minute video where I clip some of the highlights of like this whole system build out, people interacting with it. But let's just open our bloody stream. There we go. So that's me running my own little stream. We're controlling it from Kynto. So check this out. So if I come down here and I click stop streaming, this should stop. There's like 5 seconds of latency or whatever. And you'll see this obviously disabled. So we'll start with stop recording. VLC will still be working, right? We've got our little movie location. I'm going to click stop streaming. This should go dead in a couple of seconds. Let's see what happens. Done. Perfect. Yes. If I click start streaming, I don't think it'll automatically start, but we'll be able to set that up on our own little front end. So I'm clicking starting again, just see what it does. I'm kind of learning how this behaves. Oh, look, it just picked right up. Dude, this is brilliant. I'm going to be able to control OBS remotely to do full avatar chat streams. So I'm excited. And you can see it's all controlled by Kynto itself. Everything from connecting to the live chat, which first to even do that, you come in here and click start your stream, which would push out to YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. And then you'd go over to YouTube and then you just click start. It automatically populates the video ID for you because it just looks at my channel and grabs that. But yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm bloody happy. What happened though? Of course. Let's end it and restart. So like say so one of the next things we can control here is maybe add an ability to hide and display scenes remotely in OBS to mute and unmute the like microphones, even though we have mute control in Kynto itself on the peer-to-peer layer. I think it would be useful to kind of just control more OBS this way. But yeah, appreciate your support, Christian. Pretty cool seeing it all working together, isn't it? Yeah, it's working good. So if I close this and open it back up, though, I think I still have to hit fetch state. Yeah, I do. So we still have a couple of things to work the kinks out on. If I click start record, this should light up down here. And it did. Oh man, well, I'm excited. Look at that stream. So it's actually quite easy to set up on an RTP server. It's more difficult. Is how we're going to make it dynamic. Because I wanted to support just more than one instance as such. Oh, that's the wrong link. Yeah, that's a reverse proxy config. Which, well, cool, it's not what we want. So the next step to figure out, hopefully you guys can, oh, the screen's public, nope, you can see it. So right here, we're setting up get URL to pull the stream HLS, and it essentially returns M3U8 compatible video from our RTMP stream that we can play in a web player.
Do the character messages support emojis?
You know, I think they do. Give it a test. I don't know if the moderation's filtering it out, but it should work. If it doesn't, I want to fix that. Are you talking about, oh, I see what you're saying. It's filtering it out. So you can give us a couple of claps. I appreciate that. That's brilliant. Cool. Yeah, okay, we need to get emojis back. That's kind of a high priority, isn't it? But yeah, I appreciate you following me through on that little breakthrough. It's nice to see it all come full circle. A lot going on. Alright, maybe I should take a look at the moderation now. Okay, they're fun times dealing with CGS and MJS all in one system. It's gross. I think I coded that. No. No, that's not it either. Here we go. No, that's not it either. Oh, there's a bit of code here. So where I think that's been filtered out is an ASCII check. Okay, it's probably in here. I think this is essentially an ASCII check. So AI is very helpful with regex. We're gonna see what AI has to say about getting emoji support in here. Okay. Let's just grab this whole chunk. So I'm not blocking them in here. I wonder if the moderation layer is. So we run this through OpenAI moderation API. So speaking of SDK updates, breaking changes, we're gonna have to come back in here. It looks like we're using a version, a model of moderation that's about to be kicked off. So that's actually a really high priority. Let's see. It's possible it's getting caught up in user flooding. No. Alright, I'll play with this tonight, because I do want emojis back. So we're going to just add a gross to-do check. Get those back in. Appreciate your testing. That's what it takes, right?
123,456 grin.
Alright. So emojis are getting through. The problem is some messages are not getting through. So you have to understand why. Let's see, are they coming through the chat at all? So if anything that gets read out as TTS will also show as a text message. So let's check that out. Oh, interesting. So you see that your message is being held up somewhere. What I have to do, curious how much logging I'm doing here. I think I'm doing a bit, like especially anything that gets ran through the moderation API, I think I'm logging now. So I could go back and pull those messages just to ensure that they're actually being captured, because you could be getting tripped up from an actually calling the YouTube API for the messages list, or rejected on the moderation layer. So I think those are the two main things to look at. But it's like a no-go to not have that system working as expected. So now we're getting OBS in a good place. I think we're going to be switching right back to integrations to get that completely squared away. Let me quit my screen sharing over here. So cool, I could just control this remotely. Alright. Perfect. Then we'll turn on our color key again so you can see the screen behind it. Got a whole system laid out here. Losing track of time, guys. It's 4:30 AM. You know what they say when you're having fun. You don't want to go home. Ooh, I think we maxed out the amount of API requests we have from YouTube. Uh-oh. Yeah, guys, I think I burnt through all the API tokens tonight. Oops. Because our YouTube instance is down and we lost our subscriber count. Usually that only happens when I burn through all the tokens. So I think that means we had a good long stream. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Christian. Exactly. Hello, Lex. We just lost our YouTube live chat information. I think we went through all of our tokens available for the day. So I do have a message to send to Google. Let's take a quick look off screen, but I will start shutting this down. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Hopefully the tokens are reset by the time we stream tomorrow. Otherwise I'm in trouble. You get 10,000 tokens in a day, but when I'm checking the live chat every 5 seconds and it costs 2 or 3 tokens to do that, yeah, we just burn right through them. People, developer, let's see. And I'm fine showing you what I'm seeing. So I think this is ours. Alright, well, we had a lot of great progress today. What we're going to do tomorrow, regardless of anything, even if we don't get enough tokens back to do live chat, we're going to activate a local build of Kynto, because I basically figured out a way that we can get live chats instantly without using the API tokens. We're essentially doing like a puppeteer thing. I won't get into super details, but we'll just get it up so we don't run into this problem in the future. But as Christian says, Rome wasn't built in a day, and then you know it's Kynto. And Ashhawk, hello guys. Make sure you make sure you subscribe. I'll drop the Discord link in as well. If you guys are interested in code or what I'm doing here, I want you guys to be able to follow us as we go through the week. It's definitely a live system, and I respond in real time to feedback and all sorts. And just the issues I run into with developing, like running out of tokens, or writing code that blasts through all the tokens accidentally. But yeah, we're definitely out. Alright guys, shutting it down now. Christian, cheers for sticking along tonight. It was brilliant. And we'll get a new server up tomorrow. Our OBS is up. Yeah, we'll end on a good note. I'll try not to overthink not having any tokens left. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night and a great day.